You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters. Well, my goodness. The WNBA, Cathy Engelbert, for the time she's got left. Adam Silver. Let's be honest. Let's throw the National Basketball Association in there. They got themselves a problem. And their problem is the Republican congressmen that were wanting answers from the commissioner about how are you going to address things concerning the treatment of players in your league, keeping them physically unharmed in your league, and how are you going to make sure that Caitlin Clark is treated as fairly as any other player? But it's not just Caitlin; it's all of them that the GOP is looking at. Well, Cathy Engelbert provided a response, and much like the late great, rest in peace, Dikembe Mutombo, the GOP have rejected Cathy Engelbert's response. Little finger wag. Sent that packing back to where it came from. The WNBA is in trouble. They got a new scandal. They've got an owner now that's berated and chastised and cussed out two young girls, a couple of 16-year-old girls at a basketball game now. Girls have come out. They have spoken. I put that video on the Matrix and Road show. I shared it on my community post on this channel. You got an assault or battery, depending on the state and local jurisdiction, of a Seattle Storm fan spitting in a Indiana Fever fan's face. This league's got a lot of problems. And I brought up in that video that they've got a new scandal every other week. And we're not talking about basketball on the court. We're not. I mean, Caitlin Clark dropped, 32 last night? WNBA does not know how to monetize that. They do not know how to capitalize on that. They do not know how to use Caitlin Clark to grow their sport because they're too busy being a bunch of activists. Represented August Fugler, actually. That's Fugler, I believe. August Fugler, Republican Texas, right here in Texas, chairman of the Republican Study Committee, says the WNBA's response to congressional concerns about Caitlin Clark's treatment, quote, falls short, and warned that lawmakers will keep, quote, every option on the table as they continue pressing the league for answers. WNBA Commissioner Cathy Engelbert responded on July 24th to a letter from Fugler and 10 other House Republicans who questioned whether the league had adequately protected Clark and held opposing players accountable for overtly physical conduct. And that's the other thing. Are you adequately punishing the offenders? Which we know a one-game suspension is not an adequate punishment. Even worse, we found out she wasn't even going to do that. It took the NBA commissioner giving a directive to get her to respond and do something. That's unacceptable. In the 2-page response obtained exclusively by Outkick, Engelbert said the WNBA's top priority is health, safety, and well-being of every player in their league, including Caitlin Clark. In their response, the commissioner outlined the league's standard procedures for reviewing, officiating, and potentially dangerous play, but did not address any of Clark's related incidents cited by the lawmakers individually. The WNBA's response falls short of what we asked for, unsurprisingly, Fugler told Outkick in a statement. We didn't request a description of the league's general officiating and disciplinary procedures. We asked how those procedures have actually been applied in specific incidents we raised involving Caitlin Clark, and the league chose not to answer that. Engelbert wrote that the WNBA basketball operations and referee operations conduct separate reviews after every game. One review examines atypical or overly physical plays, while the other evaluates the overall performance of the officials. Those reviews can result in fouls being upgraded after the game, as well as fines, suspensions, or disciplinary actions or measures. The league also uses the reviews to inform future officiating evaluations, training, and guidance. Engelbert wrote, quote, in all instances, the league seeks to apply the WNBA rulebook and applicable disciplinary processes consistently across all games for all players, commissioners said. Fugler said the league offered no supporting information to demonstrate that its rules had been applied evenly. Quote, saying you apply your rules consistently across all games for all players is an assertion, not evidence. And it's the league's burden to show that, not ours to assume it, Fugler said. Until the WNBA is willing to engage with specifics of our information requests instead of simply restating their own policies back to us, our concerns remain unaddressed. We will continue to press for real answers and keep every option on the table until players are actually getting the protection the league claims they already provide. Lawmakers cited a series of incidents involving Clark. Fugler and other lawmakers initially wrote Engelbert on July 7th, following several highly publicized incidents involving Clark. It took you 2 damn weeks to respond? And you just sent some run-of-the-mill officiating jargon back to him? Okay. Again, you can go back to my videos. On the day we found out that she had received this from these lawmakers, I said, the moment that Alyssa Thomas got one sorry-ass game suspended, one, I was like, oh, the government is getting involved. The government is getting involved because you look like a joke. And you are not willing to truly punish and send an appropriate message that you are not going to allow this kind of conduct in your basketball games. Their letter cited instances in which the Indiana Fever star had been hip-checked, poked in the eyes, struck in the throat. The WNBA later assessed Mercury forward Alyssa Thomas a flagrant 2 and a 1-game suspension. Lawmakers argued that the incidents went, quote, far beyond routine physical play. Of course they did. They bordered and maybe even crossed over into assault. Let's keep it real. And accused the league and its officials of too often failing to address the conduct or hold opposing players accountable. They asked Engelbert to explain the WNBA's process for reviewing physical hostility and violence during games, how the league holds players accountable for overly aggressive actions, including conduct directed at Clark, and what it is doing to protect players from online harassment and off-court threats. The letter also said lawmakers were concerned by reports suggesting that Clark's treatment could be racially motivated and warned that the failure to prevent discrimination, retaliation, or a hostile work environment could raise questions under the federal workplace and civil rights laws. They got a problem, folks. They got a problem. During a July 23rd interview with Outkick conducted one day before Engelbert sent a response, Fugler said the issue separate from the questions raised the lawmakers' letter. Quote, I'm sure there are plenty of other issues that the league needs addressed. They can do that as they see fit, but our questions are pretty pointed. The only way to clear up our questions is to actually answer them. During the interview, Fugler said, the burden on the WNBA to provide information demonstrating that its standards were enforced fairly. He argued that allowing perception of unequal treatment to persist would damage confidence in the league's ability to govern itself. That's a very good point. It's a very good point. The fact that the perception is that the league is not doing what it can to protect somebody like Caitlin Clark from getting the crap beat out of her on the court, well, that perception is a problem. What are you doing to correct perception? Actually hammering down on some of these players would do it. Somebody pokes Caitlin Clark or any other player in the eye, 10-game suspension. Alyssa Thomas does what she does. At least 10 games. One could argue could have been gone for the season. Diamond DeShields slams into the side of Caitlin Clark. See you. You're out for the year. Now you're sending real messages. Now we can see you're actually doing something. When asked during the interview to identify specific evidence supporting the original letter's suggestion of racial motivation, Fugler did not cite an example. He instead broadened his argument to whether every WNBA player receives equal protection under the league's rules. It is about everybody. The burden of proof should be on the commissioner, should be on the league, to provide evidence of how players on different teams and from different areas are treated. Quote, women's sports are at a turning point. How the WNBA treats its own biggest star will show whether the league is actually committed to protecting players carrying it forward. And it's still baffling that you have to get to the point that lawmakers have to get involved to protect the biggest cash cow, golden goose, the biggest name far and away this league has ever seen. And the failure to have a Zoom call as a commissioner with the Players Association and the heads and say, we don't give a shit if you don't like Caitlin Clark. We don't give a shit if you're petty or if you're jealous. We better not see it on the court or anything that would even lead us down the road to believe it. She is the true moneymaker in this league. Everybody in this room could be gone right here. Not a single fan's going to miss them. That's a fact. Nobody's going to give a rat's ass. All of y'all are gone. Oh, okay. Is Caitlin Clark and, well, now Sophie Cunningham still in the league? Oh, they are? Okay. I'll still watch the games they play in. And it's up to you to figure out how to market other players up to their level. I don't know how that happens. It's up to you to stomp out political agenda in your league as well. So you can cross all lines of fandom in order to get viewership and make money. They could put me in charge. It wouldn't take me but a day. And yeah, 90% of these players might hate my guts. I wouldn't give a rat's ass. This league would be cleaned up. I guarantee it. I'd be sending out memos and they'd be threatening to, okay, go play overseas. Next woman up. I promise you, the next Ari McDonald, Odyssey Sims, Chloe Bibby are sitting at home waiting on a call. Oh, y'all don't want to hear by the standards? They will. Come on down. You're up. Just that simple. Tell me what you think. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.